Whether your organization is playing soccer or selling software, coaching is essential to the development, performance, and success of your team members. A good coach lifts employees up, fosters well-being, and ultimately improves team morale, retention, and engagement. And bad coaching, well, that can have the opposite effect. So here's a few pointers on how to make your coaching meaningful and impactful. It starts with trust. The best, most insightful guidance and feedback will almost always go unheard unless it's coming from a trusted source. But don't trust me. Let's hear it from the guy who literally wrote the book on fixing feedback.
For most people, most of the time, traditional feedback inspires fear, not joy. It activates our natural threat response. Whenever our status is challenged, whenever our safety is compromised, we become defiant. We become defensive. We feel like less of ourselves and not more. And that's where the fear lives. And we come knocking right on its door every single time we ask the question, can I give you some feedback?
Building trust takes a culture where feedback isn't reserved for punishment, browbeating, and course correction, but instead is frequent, authentic, and grounded in clear expectations. And that starts with the manager check-in.
A good check-in between a manager and their direct report is so important. That relationship is sacrosanct. It is so critical to how you experience the rest of the organization. So first of all, it has to happen frequently. The person who is responsible for you and the organization checking in at least once a week, that is a big deal. That needs to happen. However, how you do this is also important. And I think we don't give leaders enough guidance here, unfortunately, especially people who are leading for the first time.
Research shows that the feedback experience is unpleasant for the receiver, but even more unpleasant for the giver. And that's why managers who have to give feedback often resort to disguising or dodging feedback and trying to work around it rather than talking straight at it.
What we tell leaders, unfortunately, is make sure the person is on task and they know their goals and they're on track. Listen, all of that is super important, but if that's all you ever check in about, people feel like you only care what they do for the organization and not who they are as people. That does not a great relationship make. So I like to talk about what I call the generous check-in. Please don't just check in on what the person is doing, check in on how they are and who they are. Because what it does is it creates this environment where your direct report feels like they can do the same. That if they make a mistake, they can say that to you. If they're feeling stressed, if they're having a bad day, if they need a little extra grace because something is going on in their personal life, you've created this safe space for them. And you've created a bond and that relationship that will make that person really want to work harder for you.
When the time comes to deliver constructive feedback, you may have heard of the praise sandwich. Give positive feedback, add some criticism in the middle, and then stack some more positives on top. But to the recipients, this can seem like a pretty obvious contrivance, eroding trust and failing to get to the meat of the matter. The healthier option is what Dr. Hirsch calls a candid, collaborative wrap, or what and where, reason, effect, and prompt. For example, you might tell your video team's voiceover artist, "Owen, I noticed your latest voiceover was posted late on Friday. I'm bringing this up because it meant the editor had to work over the weekend. It makes me worried that they'll feel unvalued and burned out. What can we do to manage these timelines better?" When a baseline of trust exists in a manager-employee relationship, using the wrap method in this entirely hypothetical scenario gives the employee agency over their go-forward plan and is productive, not punitive. Multiply that across an entire organization, and you're well on your way to building a culture of communication, engagement, and growth.
If we are careful and conscientious about creating the kinds of feedback cultures where people can speak honestly and openly, candidly and collaboratively, straight, but also with a sense of balance, that's the opportunity that we have to create organizations that operate with trust, with wholeness, with equity, and ultimately with high engagement.